All right, welcome to the Oxen Group Nightly. My name is David Stow, CEO, President, and Founder of the Oxen Group. Please check us out at www.theoxengroup.com for all of your financial analysis and investment ideas needs. Today in the market, we had another pretty outstanding day. We'll be looking at our Tuesday market wrap-up as well as new positions in Copen, Sohu, some of our other current positions and exits, as well as updates on Giorgio's Corner and our extended value portfolio. And please do check out our disclaimer at the end of the video. Let's start out with the market wrap-up. So the market rose for the third straight day today. You had a lot of really good news from the Microsoft and Skype merger and acquisition. Anytime you get an M&A in the market, it's a very good for the general trend of the market because it shows that large companies are basically doing their own version of investing in companies, and that means that they believe that the market is going to be better in the future, and that this merger and acquisition could add value going forward. And it's always very bullish for the market. We also had pretty good earnings from Dean Foods and Medifast that also helped a little bit, and we had some good numbers coming out from the export imports from the economic data this morning. And oil prices continued higher actually despite change to margin requirements from CME as the Mississippi River flood sort of outweighed the CME requirements information. However, I would be a little bit cautious with that as the Mississippi River sort of that issue subsides, the next topic is going to be moving back to those margin requirements from the CME. We might look to add maybe a inverse ETF on the oil and gas futures with maybe SCO moving into the future if we do see that Mississippi River crisis start to subside. Also, so the big news on the day was the merger and acquisition between Microsoft and Skype. It was a $7 billion deal. Microsoft said they're going to use Skype to help them with some of their current applications, including their Xbox, Windows Phone, and their Microsoft line. They're also excited about the potential for ads on Skype. They believe that that ad business can add a lot of revenue moving forward, sort of like the way Google has transformed the ad revenue business. The market rose today. It was again on pretty light volume, but you did see, I thought, a very bullish case at the end of the day as the stocks rose throughout the last couple hours there to push over 12,775. But again, that 12,780 line seems to be a place that we cannot break through. And we took a lot of stuff off the table today and yesterday, and I'm definitely getting a little bit of a bearish sentiment going throughout the rest of the week, simply because I don't think that the market's risen on much and it's been on pretty light volume. And I think if we get any kind of negative catalyst to downside, we've been pretty lucky this week. The first 2 days of the week, we've had pretty much 2 clean days. Nothing too weak coming out on the market. Any bad economic data or any really hurtful earnings could be pretty catastrophic to this market at this point in time. But today we were able to pull away a nice 2% gain on a small cap in Copen. We got in at 478 and we're able to sell it at 487 for a 2% gain. They're a semiconductor broadline company, and the technicals just looked outstanding on the company as they pushed over the high of yesterday, and that's where I really liked the stock as it pushed over that high of the yesterday. Looked like it was going to be able to really break out towards the end of the day. You can see it bounced right off the bottom of this price channel and its 50-day moving average, and it looks like it's going to have some pretty heavy resistance as it gets to the top of this price channel. So it was a one-day trade pretty much. We are holding some of that position still, maybe expecting it to go to maybe 491 or push maybe a little bit higher than that, but other than that, this trade probably won't have much more legs under it. Sohu, we continued with our position in Sohu today. It was pretty much a flat day for the stock. It did actually finish the day higher than the close from yesterday, but overall has felt some resistance at that 20-day moving average and hasn't been able to break above it. And we exited the position twice today for a 1.4 and a 2% gain. We're looking for that last third to maybe push 99, but that's going to have that big catalyst. But we do see that catalyst coming on Thursday from Cena's earnings, which we're pretty bullish on. Other than that, Tesla, we finished the day up a little bit over 3% from our entry. We did not take over a 6% gain as the stock just missed out on our limit exit at 29, hit 28.95. Hess did drop slightly on the day with weakness in energy, but it is still above our entry, and I still do very much like this position over the next week to 2 weeks. For Georgia's corner, we added a position in Emitech today with the intention of a 2% target. Georgia liked this position as it showed some pretty good volume on the last couple days and was breaking out to the upside. Moved above a key moving average today, and so has support below that without any resistance lines above it. We're holding Apple with about a little bit of a just under 0.5% gain so far in that, but Georgia did mention that really good volume came into the stock at the end of the day, and that should help push that stock higher. There hasn't been a real key leader in tech throughout this rally, and if Apple can really get going, that could very well push the Nasdaq into some very high territory. Apple's been pretty much just flatlining throughout this entire rally, and I think if this stock can get going, it could be some leadership in the market. It could really drive us to maybe one of those 150 or 200 point days up if we can get some real key leaders like Apple or Google moving. Probably the best thing that happened to us Sunday was in the extended value portfolio. After a really great earnings report, our position in Dean Foods was up 44% on the day. After we entered at the end of December at 861, we were able to exit today at 1241 for a nearly 44% gain. We're still holding 1/3 of that position, looking for our final target to hit at 13. For tomorrow, the market continued higher today on strong merger and acquisition and decent data out on imports and exports, but the volume was not there really still. And I think economic data will be very key tomorrow. We have crude inventories. I think those will be very key to see if those come out, weaker than expected. That could really continue to drive up oil prices, which could help energy companies. But I think we're at a spot right now where if they continue higher, it will start to have an adverse effect on retail, airlines, some of your transports. And then the trade balance numbers will also be key tomorrow. And I think earnings from Disney and Macy's and Molycorp can have a pretty big impact, especially Disney and Macy's, especially because they have a very high connection to the consumer spending aspect of. And I think if we're going to continue to get a rally, we need to see that consumer spending and consumer sentiment is strong, because I do not think that materials and energy can be leaders anymore in this market. So we need things like tech, retail, and some of your cyclicals and some of your conglomerates to really help pull up this market as they are more connected to the consumer. That's going to do it for today. Visit www.theoxengroup.com. Email us at contact@theoxengroup.com. Call us at 1-800-709-1160. Be a part of 70% plus accuracy.